So y'all want some more videos that'll make you question everything, right? I got you. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check it out.
You guys know my mom got arrested for attempting to murder somebody. I finally know why she did it, so here's the update with a massive warning because this story is so disturbing. I got all of her court records and the police report because she took a plea deal and I wanted to know how long she was going to be in prison for. Her sentence is insane. But this tells the whole story from that night. It has everything from her stabbing the dude to brain cancer. Just wait. So this all starts as a sick and twisted love story between my mom and another inmate the last time she was in prison back in 2017. So my mom apparently joined some Write a Prisoner pen pal program where you get to write other inmates that are in jail, right? So she starts writing love letters back and forth to this dude named Adam. This is Adam. Everyone say hi to Adam. Adam was in prison serving time for that crime because he's a pedo. And let's be so clear, my mom is equally as disgusting for condoning that behavior. It's heartbreaking, to be honest. Like, she has kids. I'm her kid. How can she be okay with that? Anyway, so my mom and Adam, aka Mr. Chomo, write letters back and forth even after my mom gets out of prison for a year and a half until Mr. Chomo also gets out of prison. What do? They start dating as soon as he gets out of prison and move in together. And before you try to defend her and you're like, how does she know what he did? It took me one Google search. One search. As soon as Adam gets out of prison and sees my mom, he's like, you're bald. Where's your hair? And she's like, I have brain cancer. She doesn't. And she never has. She's lied about having cancer so many times since I was a kid.
I've heard some tangled webs before, bro. And I've been in some. I've weaved my own. But to tell somebody you have kids, I'm gonna let her finish.
Kid for sympathy or money, now as an excuse for being bald, apparently. So they end up breaking up, but they're still seeing each other regularly and stuff like that. Until one night, my mom goes to Adam's parents' house and stabs his dad. Adam has no idea why she would try to kill his dad. He told the police if she were to try to kill anybody, it should have been me. Like, I don't know why she came after my dad. So the night that this all happened, when they went to go arrest my mom, they got into a high-speed chase with her when they tried to pull her over. They had to hit her with a pit maneuver, but she got away, all this crazy shit, right? When they finally pulled her over and got her in handcuffs, they asked her, like, ma'am, where were you tonight? What's going on? And she gave completely incoherent answers. She didn't make any sense. And when the cops were like, why are you so all over the place? Why don't you make any sense? She's like, oh, I have brain cancer. No, ma'am, it is not a tumor. It is the drugs. And she stands by this. So I think that's as much of the story as we're going to get. But they offered her a plea deal and she took it. She pled no contest. So she's going to be in jail for 6 years for all of this. Which is, I mean, I don't wish jail on anyone, but that does not seem like very long. But what the f do I know? Anyway, see you in 6 years, mommy. You guys know my mom got...
Try to unpack this. I think I'm gonna need therapy after hearing this story, bro. But let's try to unpack this first of all, right? Her mom got arrested. Now, she said for this, but then she said, so I don't know if she did murder him or she didn't, or was it attempted? You know what I mean? 6 years, it gotta be attempted, because 6 years, 6 years. It's something wrong with our system if she succeeded in what she was trying to do and only got 6 years, bro. Crazy. This girl here, she's gonna need therapy later on in life. If not now. If not now. Look what she's had to deal with in her lifespan already. And everything mom has done between the usage, between the prison stints, between dating a prisoner, between all of this, on top of it, she compounded it by telling somebody that she has cancer. You can't choose your parents. I know that. I know that. But man, some people are born in some messed up situations, bro.
Well, it's a feud between two neighbors.
A Sylvania Township man says his neighbor is excessively calling the cops on him for having fun with his family in his own backyard. 13 Action News reporter Zane Omer spoke with both neighbors. She has the story new at 11. Zane.
Lee and Diane, Alexander Lusick, who lives in the Farmbrook subdivision just off Sylvania Avenue, tells me he built a pool in his backyard last year for his wife and kids to enjoy, but his neighbor says it's disturbing his peace. The sounds of summer fun are also the center of frustration for some Sylvania Township residents.
Summertime comes, kids outside enjoying the pool. They love to listen to music. My twins love to listen to Miss Rachel. And next thing you know, I got police officers coming to my house.
Alexander Lusick and his family moved to a house on Ramblehurst Road 2 years ago. The family loves to entertain in their backyard, but Lusick says false noise complaints from one neighbor have put an end to their fun.
It's just kind of frustrating because my kids see it every single day. Say, Dad, why is the police here? What's going on?
The frustration driving Lusick to put up this sign in his front yard. Another neighbor says she's never had any issues with noise from the Lusick house.
This is a backyard where they're allowed to live and enjoy life.
Sylvania Township Police say officers have been called at least 4 times since May. I spoke to the neighbor who did not want to speak on camera. He tells me Lusick is violating the ordinance, which states noise cannot disturb the peace, enjoyment, quiet, or comfort of any person with ordinary sensibilities, and noise must be kept to a minimum between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. However, police say all were before those hours, and there have been no citations.
First time I just brushed it off. I was like, you know what? Maybe I did play Miss Rachel too loud, but I just like, whatever. Next day, happened again. Third day, happens again.
At this point, Lusick just wants peace, but so does his neighbor.
I got neighbors that live a couple streets down, driving by, looking at it, makes me look like I'm a bad person.
So where can the Lusicks and their neighbor go from here? Well, Sylvania Township Police tell me police-led mediation is an option for anyone going through a dispute with their neighbors. But if that doesn't work, in extreme cases, it could be settled in court. Lee?
Yo, the cop caller on the front line took me out. See, this is why when I moved to the neighborhood I moved in, the first thing I did before I had any event, any type of cookout party or anything at my house, I waited. You know what I mean? First of all, I was warned. I wasn't warned. I was told about this at the closing table, right? The sellers who actually sold us our house, they came to the closing table. So I asked them about the neighbors. You know what I mean? And he was like, oh, they're cool. You got one guy that lives to the side of you. He's like a retired military vet. He was like, there's another guy on the left side of you. You don't hardly see him that much. And he's like, there's a house to the front because we live in a cul-de-sac. And he's like, the house on the front to the right, he was like, they always have parties. So I was like, ooh, duly noted. He was like, yeah, they always have parties. They be having, and it doesn't, nobody really trips about it. They said we had to call them maybe once or twice saying they was getting too loud, but never really had any issues. I was like, all right, cool. I like to hear that because we like to have a good time too at our house. So I was kind of worried what the neighbors would think. You know what I mean? So that type of stuff is always in the back of your mind. And I often wonder, I'm like, okay, if you have an issue with noise or anything like that, you know what I mean? Maybe I often thought about moving like in the country somewhere, you know what I mean? Where it's not too many houses around so I could do like that, you know? But don't really like living way out in the sticks. So I always battle with that, but come on, man. Does fun bother you? Kids playing in a pool, laughter. He said he turned the music down and still got complaints. Like, so you just hate fun. You just don't like hear people having fun. Anytime you hear people having fun, you're like, who's that having fun? Who's having fun? And then you call on the police on them. Like, come on, man, stop it, bro. Or at least go over there and sit down and have a conversation and dialogue with your neighbor, bro, and find out how can y'all come to some sort of, you know what I mean, resolution on the matter. But just straight up calling the police out the gate is crazy.
I'm going to talk briefly about an op that we're going to do a press conference on this next Friday morning. So y'all stay tuned for more news on Friday morning. But this obviously became big news in Cartersville, Georgia, at the police department, and the information quickly leaked out.
I know where that's at. I definitely know where that's at. Cartersville, Georgia. Yes, north of me.
And so now all the news media is asking for this information. So you're getting a early preview of what's going to be a very interesting release of information on a human trafficking operation. As you know, we seek out the victims of human trafficking. And in order to do that, you do prostitution stings. Well, when you do these operations, as this one was hugely successful, we'll talk about Friday, you arrest Johns who are seeking out prostitutes as well. Well, let me introduce you to what I consider a high-profile arrest. This is Deputy Chief Jason DePrima of the Cartersville Police Department.
Oh!
As I understand it, after talking to his chief, he's been there almost 30 years.
Oh!
Graduate of the FBI Academy, well-respected police officer in town. Did you notice I said in town?
Highly decorated. Just threw away 30 years. 30 years you put in, just thrown down. Oh my God.
Town. But he was out of town. That's right, he was at an American Polygraph Association meeting in Orlando, Florida. Let me say this clearly. I don't want you to miss it. Driving an unmarked vehicle that was normally assigned to the DEA task force, meaning their officer assigned to the task force would have driven this vehicle. But apparently his vehicle was not so good to make the trip, so he's in one of the undercover vehicles. When he shows up at our undercover operation in the government vehicle, carrying alcoholic beverages, apparently some Bud Light for himself and White Claw for our undercover operative. That's right, he bought a case of White Claw because she said she would like it. So ostensibly, this guy has come to have sex with a prostitute while driving the Cartersville Police Department undercover vehicle, and he was in possession of alcohol, which of course, had we not intervened, he was going to drink that, engage in sexual conduct, and ultimately get in his government vehicle and drive back to his hotel. But newsflash, this is Jason DePrima, 49 years of age, his picture at the Polk County Jail. That's right, and let me tell you the story as he relates it to us. He is texting with, guess what, our undercover detective. He started this conversation with her on Wednesday night where he was going to show up, but he became spooked. He didn't say why, but on Thursday night, he just couldn't resist the urge to be with our undercover detective, who he thought was a high-class prostitute. So he once again began to communicate. He asked how much the price is. She said $80, or a full half hour, $120. He said, I'm in. So he comes to the house. Ultimately, he's arrested. But the conversation is very interesting. He told her before the takedown occurred that the night before he had engaged with another prostitute online for $200. And that prostitute said, hey, go get a Cash App card. You know, you can buy them at the convenience stores. And he did for $200. And then she said, I want you to take a photograph of it so I know you've got the money. Well, duh. He took a photograph and sent it to the alleged prostitute on Wednesday night, according to him. You're not going to believe this. You can't even.
I don't. I don't, bro. Are you kidding me? That's why I be saying, bro, when we watch those videos, how they poke their chests out and do certain things to people, I be like, man, y'all regular people just like me and you. They regular people just like us. You know what I mean? But they do have this job and they do have the authority to arrest. But other than that, when you get off and go home, you're regular people just like me and you. And you make mistakes just like, so don't always look down on us for making a mistake. And then here you have Exhibit A.
Believe this. Now, this guy's a cop. and he was flim-flammed and conned by a prostitute. That's right. She took the information off of the card, got the $200, and left him high and dry. He was ripped off in a confidence scam with a prostitute, or who was alleged to be a prostitute.
Didn't learn his lesson.
So that was on Wednesday. Then he talks. He's not giving up. Then he talks, and Thursday night at just before midnight, he shows up. He shows up with his White Claw, and it's like, what are you thinking?
Bro was scammed on Wednesday, back at it on Thursday, fam. Hadn't learned his lesson at all. You was really like, yeah, listen, man, go find you a girl the regular way at a bar or something like that, fam. But obviously, he was fiending.
What are you thinking? What is going on? You're a deputy chief, a high-ranking official in a very respected police department, and you're showing up with White Claw and 2 Bud Lights, and we're not sure whether you can do math or not, okay? Because the deal is for $120 for a half hour, a full half hour. He shows up with $180. He shows up with $180 and says, I can send you the rest of it on a Cash App, but I had to stop to buy the White Claw. So for some reason, I don't know if he's planning on extra time.
He wanted extra time.
He can't add. He wants to leave a tip. He wants to impress this person. But listen to his text.
Bro wanted extra time. That's what that was. He had extra money. He was planning on going for a long time. Yeah. He's like, I give you the rest. I know I'm going to be here for a while.
He's real suspicious. I guess you would be after you got ripped off the night before. Listen to his text. If you're legit as you seem, we will have fun. If not, I'm riding around with a case of White Claw, feeling girly. Well, he got to feel arresty.
Feeling girly.
We put him in jail. So we put him in jail late on Thursday night under a $500 bond. He didn't get out of jail until Saturday morning at 4 o'clock. So he got to spend, almost 2 complete nights in the county jail. So now he's gone from deputy police chief. As I understand, he's suspended pending their disciplinary actions, and he's facing criminal charges here in Polk County. So, if all else fails, he can write a book. How to Ruin Your Career in 3 Easy Steps.
30
Start
years.
out by going to Florida to Polygraph Association School. Then lie to the detectives when they investigate and ask you questions. Oh, he made admissions. But it's like, I wanted to ask him, since he's a polygrapher and was at polygraph school, would you like to take a polygraph with those answers you gave us? How would that work for you? And according to all the information we received, he's got a beautiful wife and a great family. And you just want to go, come on, man. Have you lost the last 3 brain cells? Or do you just have cabbage for brains? Why would you do that? Anyway, he's charged. He's managed, obviously, to create a great deal of angst with his family. His police chief is angry beyond words, which I certainly clearly understand. He's embarrassed the city. He's been a police officer there for a long time. And now he's facing criminal charges in Florida. Are there any questions? Not. What he said was he came there to hang out and watch football. Well, that was a partial admission. He admitted sending the text that we received that's part of the evidence. But, you have to look at things to say, one, is it legal? Is it moral? is it ethical, and does it pass the smell test? He lost on all 4 points. It's neither legal, ethical, moral, or passes the smell test. And I think what he should have done was say, hey, if I'd have asked my chief or my wife, is it okay to go hang out with a girl over 20 miles away and watch football while I drink beer and she drinks White Claw? Is that okay? I think he would have gotten his answer.
Telling you, bro, and I've never been a police officer, but when we used to go to classes, right, we go out of town and we would take like one of the department's vehicles from the fire department. We would go to classes. You couldn't be wilding out. You represent the department. You know what I mean? You represented the department where you were going, whether it be what they call gypstick down in where was that, Macon? Gypstick for the classes and stuff like that. You were on pretty much a campus, but you could go off of the campus while you were there to get food and different things like that. But you couldn't be down there wilding. You couldn't be. 9 times out of 10, you were getting paid to be there, so it's kind of like you on the clock a little bit. You probably had some kind of, you're in a department vehicle, so when you ride around, like you could not do that stuff. Especially not have no beer in the vehicle. Now, did things go on and stuff that people did? Yeah, but you taking that chance. He gambled with his career. You see what just happened.
As a high-ranking police officer, well respected, he would have known better. But he didn't. And now he's got lots of issues. Home issues, work issues, criminal issues. What he's got going here is a situation. And he's in the middle of it. Any other questions? Well, it disappoints me for the industry. We all know better. Now, you've heard me stand right here behind this podium before about some of our folks who periodically, we've got over 1,000 deputies. Occasionally one of them does something inappropriate, and when they do, we arrest them. My detectives, who are simply the very best, arrest them, and I stand up here and I'll walk all over them about their criminal conduct, and other police agencies. But it embarrasses me for our industry anytime you see this, because the people have a right to and expect better of us. He embarrassed our entire industry with his arrest. But you know what? Here's one thing you can count on. Write this down in your little book. You come here, you violate the law, we're going to put you in jail. We don't care who you are, because you become a criminal defendant and a criminal violator of the law, we're going to arrest you. That's just the way it is. But had he behaved, had he stayed at his Polygraph Association meeting, he'd been fine. But he worked all week. And so right now, think about it. He lost $200 to the prostitute that ripped him off in a flim-flam, in a scam that he should have known better on a lot of levels. Then he brought 200 more that we got, $400. Then he got misdemeanor charges. I mean,
$500 bill.
This is just insane. The whole thing is insane.
You guys have done multiple operations where you trying to get Johns or trying to get underage women to situations like this. Just your overall thoughts on, I don't know, where we are as a country as far as these becoming more recurring as the days go on.
Well, it's interesting that the overwhelming majority of the people that we've arrested in this operation aren't from Polk County. The majority of the people in Polk County have figured it out. I mean, after all, you have to live under a rock if you haven't seen some of our operations. I don't keep it a secret. A word to the wise suffices. I don't want people to violate the law. I don't want people to commit morals crimes that creates and supports an industry of human traffickers. I don't want to create an environment where predators seek young girls. So my detectives, I'm telling you, are simply the very best. And in this operation, which I'll talk about on Friday, we were joined by a lot of professional police officers from other police agencies that helped us. Because we have a safe community. We have a community that looks out for the best interest of our children. We have a community that looks out for the victims of human trafficking. And we have identified some already because we have counselors that come to our human trafficking ops. But you know what? This guy's adding to the problem. And when you come here and add to the problem, you end up in a jail uniform like this. He knows better. He knew better. But you've got to not only hold the community to the standards of the law, you've got to behave and follow the law too, and he didn't. And he's got to pay the consequences for it. But the reality of it is let the word go forth. If you think you're going to attack children or create an environment for human trafficking, not in this county. Not now, not ever. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much.
One thing he said there towards the end was, you know what I mean? It don't matter who you are. We'll put you in jail, right? The reason why I think that's important because how many times do you think that officer who's now arrested, whose picture he kept putting up on that podium, tried to get his way out of it by saying that, you know what I mean? Can you just speak to my chief, or can you do this, or can we? You know, it probably happened. And in some areas, it might even work. They might look like or act like they didn't see it, or brush it off, or cover it up, or some kind of way. The corruption that happens in this country, in these departments, it happens. This is a person to which I've been rocking with Grady Judd for a minute. I've been watching his videos for a while. I hadn't watched one in a long time, and he popped up, so I was like, let's check it out. We hadn't watched one in a long time. But from what I can tell of him, what we've seen, he don't care. He don't care at all. And he's just gonna put you in jail, bro, and then walk to the podium and talk about you. That's the type of person he is. And he gonna make it low-key kind of funny. Or maybe I just find him hilarious. But that's a good thing because some people, some departments would have covered this up. But he's been at department 30-something years. Probably got a lot of contacts. Had to be for him to feel comfortable to be out here wilding like this. Thought he couldn't be touched. So this is crazy, man. This type of stuff, and man, like I said, this is north of me. Not too far north of me, if you know what I'm saying. So, oh man, this is insane. I'm gonna have to look this up for real. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man. Let me know what you thought of this Grady Judd video.